Yes, the Turkmen who shot at the Russian pilots from the downed Su-24.
When you ask who they are, they tell you that, okay, those are our guys. But in fact, this kind of guys, they don't care about if it's ISIS or Nusra, or they were all brothers. Personally, when I talked to them, I didn't see any kind of ideological difference between ISIS and the other guys. I think it's the problem with the labels here, because all the world focused on ISIS, but there are other jihadist groups there, and they have links with Nusra or ISIS. And Turkey says that we are helping that groups, not ISIS.
Ilya Petrenko, RT, Istanbul.
Ilya reporting there from the headquarters of the Turkish newspaper timurJAUH, a virulent opponent of the government. Meanwhile, other Turkish newspapers are also criticizing authorities over worsening relations with Russia. This front page is calling for unity between Moscow and Ankara with the words, "We are friends and neighbors," written both in Turkish and Russian. Despite those pleas, Turkey shows no willingness to mend ties after it downed the Russian military jet earlier this week. Syria says the attack by Turkey was linked to Russian airstrikes on an ISIL oil lorry convoy. And while Russia has been pressing on with raids targeting the smuggling of crude, the Turkish president issued this warning.
Targeting the trucks in the region irresponsibly without knowing the reasons of their presence, whether for humanitarian purposes or trade, is playing with fire.
The Turkish president there, he also expressed no remorse over the downing of the Russian aircraft and failed to voice any condolences either over the death of the Russian pilot. Oleg Peskov was killed by Turkmen militia shooting at him while he parachuted from the jet. The leader of that paramilitary group is allegedly part of a Turkish ultra-nationalist movement, which is thought to have links to Erdogan's party and possibly the country's intelligence services as well. He's also claimed to be the son of a former Turkish mayor. RT's William Whiteman investigates.
This man is the leader of a so-called moderate rebel group of Turkmen fighting in northern Syria. The group claimed to be behind the brutal slaying of a Russian pilot as he attempted to parachute to safety after his plane was downed by the Turkish Air Force near the Turkish-Syrian border. Internet activists and bloggers were quick to point out that in their view, this Syrian Turkmen rebel is neither Syrian nor a Turkmen. He is reportedly Turkish, and his name is Alparslan Çelik. It's claimed that he is the son of Ramadan Çelik, a former mayor of a Turkish city. Over the past few days, we have attempted to track down Ramadan Çelik to ask him about his son's alleged involvement with the death of the Russian pilot. But Çelik has been untraceable since the story broke on the internet. We were, however, able to talk to his political party, the right-wing Nationalist Movement Party.
Ramazan Çelik daha önceki yıllarda Milliyetçi Hareket Partisi'nden belediye başkanlığı yapmıştı şahıs. Bizimle başka hiçbir şekilde bir bağlantısı, ilgisi yok. Bu kadar, yani size bilgi verebilirim şu anda.
Sizden belediye başkanlığı nerede yaptı, pardon?
Hangi ilde yapmıştı belediye başkanlığını? Elazığ'da.
In multiple pictures posted online, the younger Çelik can be seen with groups of armed men who are presumably fellow militants, making a specific hand gesture. This is the same hand gesture as the infamous salute used by the Turkish right-wing militant group, the Grey Wolves. The group has a record of atrocities under its belt. It massacred 150 left-wing political activists in 1978 in the town of Maras in southeastern Turkey. They then shocked the world in 1981 when one of their members attempted to assassinate Pope John Paul II in St. Peter's Square at Vatican City. The group is also suspected of being involved in the bombing attacks carried out against the pro-Kurdish peace rally in Ankara last October. But the Grey Wolves' connections run quite high. They are the paramilitary wing of the Nationalist Movement Party, the same one that Alparslan Çelik's father is a member of. The Nationalists in turn are seen to have links to President Erdogan's ruling Justice and Development Party, in that they frequently come to its aid.
The Nationalist Movement Party has made it expressly clear that they will not allow President Erdogan's ruling party, the AKP, stand alone when it comes to issues of national security and sovereignty. Regarding the escalating situation with Russia, the party's leader, Devlet Bahçeli, had this to say.
The Nationalist Movement Party will not leave the AKP government without support on this issue, securing all its rights to raise criticism.
I sat down with a spokesperson from Turkish leftist parliamentary group, the People's Democratic Party, to discuss the Grey Wolves.
It's known that they study Mein Kampf as an ideological inspiration, along with several other Turkish nationalistic political philosophers. They can be best compared to the Ku Klux Klan in America, in that they intensify their violent activities at times when nationalistic ideas arise. The wolves get involved with political events in a non-political manner on the streets. They are the muscle for the nationalist movement party and sometimes even work with Turkish intelligence services from time to time.
All of this begs the question, how is it that an apparent hard-right extremist Turkish paramilitary comes to be seen as a moderate opposition fighter in Syria? William Whiteman, RT.